just full of hunchbacks. Pigs just keep a bitching. Clap just keeps a itching. Ain't no use in playing. That's the way staying, baby. Johnny is so crazy. Johnny's got a knife for the needle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get your rock star, honey. Shake 'em down now, get 'em up downtown. Get your rock star, honey. Shake 'em down now, get 'em up downtown. Creeps to keep it crawling, drugs to keep it falling, teasers keep it teasing, holy Joe's a preaching, cops to keep it busting, hustlers keep a hustling, death that keeps a knocking, souls are up for auction, ain't no use in playing, that's the way to staying, baby. Johnny is so crazy, Star's got a knife for the lady. Get your rock star, honey. Shake 'em down now, get 'em up downtown. Get your rock star, honey. Shake 'em down now, get 'em up downtown. Ain't no use in playing, that's the way it's staying, baby. Johnny is so crazy, Southwell's got a knife for the lady. Get your rock star, honey. Shake 'em down now, get 'em up downtown. Get your rock star, honey. Shake 'em down now, get 'em up downtown. Get your rock star, honey. Shake 'em down now, get 'em up downtown. Get your rock star,
With,
Can't see you.
well, let's take us off mute and try saying hello again.
All right, we'll be on mute.
It was for a second. Yeah.
Donkey.
Hello, Facebook and virtual world.
Hi, guys. What a lovely crew. Ah, she's in. They're in. Hi,
So,
Mark.
what a wonderful lineup we've got tonight. People
Fabulous.
from
Hi,
all.
Emma.
I know, honestly, P, I was going to say I've got a thing because I've got to say it. If anybody ever wants to watch a good box set, ask this man. But do you know what? I am really paranoid about looking like Deirdre Barlow. You've put it in my head. You've planted the seed. Out of order, isn't it?
I've got my Deirdre's on tonight.
And me.
Thanks, guys. I just thought I looked really, really good, and then a comment came in off Peter Sheath saying I look like Deirdre Barlow, so I was affected all night. And ever since, actually, what was that, 6 weeks ago?
You look absolutely beautiful.
This is Peter Yarwood.
And this is the amazing speaker, preacher, all-round seeker and teacher, Emma Daggers.
Hi, guys. Beautiful to see you.
In this space.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that before and thinking when lockdown hit, we were quite fast out of the tracks with this.
What is it now, guys? 15 weeks? Something like that?
A lot of grey hair later and a lot more lines is what it is.
I heard we've got a couple of teenagers with us, haven't we? And I heard one of them nobbing me off in the bedroom the other day about me man not. And it's like, I'm totally cool with it. Totally fine with it.
Long, lovely hair. So tonight the value is respect, and I am going through the menopause, so I keep getting hot, and I've got a fan next to me, so you may get a bit wafted tonight, love.
Hey, that's fine. So every week we go through one of the Lancashire User Forum's values. So this is a live LUF Lounge, and what we want to do is streaming issues that affect us. So that Nothing About Us agenda. For people who've come through the criminal justice system, people who have or are still struggling with addiction, and people who aren't, people who are just fine with using it. That's, you know, their choice. What we want to do is keep it as close to our values, where there's no barrier. The only barrier to you getting involved is your motivation. We're not going to put any stipulations on what you should or shouldn't look like. We will meet people where they're at. And each week we go through a value of ours. So this week it's respect. And what we've got underneath that word, respect, is a bit of an explanation. So judging and valuing people for who they are and where they are, and, you know, where they're going, not where they've been. Welcoming and being inclusive of everyone. Respecting people's differences and not being judgmental. Accepting people unconditionally for who they are and where they are in their lives. Giving people a voice and enabling them to speak up. And listening to people and valuing their assets, abilities and life experiences. Fundamentally treating everybody like a human being, not, oh, we'll treat you like a human being because you fit in our box, and we won't treat you like because you don't. Everybody treating everyone like a human being. So the theme tonight is harm reduction. You know,
I was just thinking when you were saying that, though, that's not always the case, though, is it? You know, people treating people as a human being. Not what I've witnessed anyway in the last few weeks. Can I just say a massive shout out to the Purple Roomz in the house? Guys, yes, guys, we managed to get some tablet down there, some technology, and we have got the guys in the house. Nice one.
Can we just say then, because before we get into the introductions of people, we was talking in the preamble, and I was saying, look, Emma's a bit sensitive. She's just put a funding application in, and it was knocked back. And, you know, she's liable to go off on one. And then Mick chirped up, didn't you, Mick?
Did.
You got a laptop for me, Mick?
Yeah, we'll buy you one, or you buy it. We'll send you the money.
Right.
So we'll do it quick. Just give us a bell on Monday. Ring me Monday.
Yeah.
Sort it as soon as possible. Get it in there. Don't wait for them knobbing about. Just get it and get it in there.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name. Amen.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Just do it. Just do it. We'll send you the money on Monday. Just ring me Monday and we'll sort it.
We've managed to get a tablet down there so they can access groups and access the forums and stuff like that. But that would be much appreciated. That beautiful.
So just so people are listening, guys in the Purple Roomz, can you tell us what the Purple Roomz is? They look like they're frozen with like.
That's how crap the technology is to go.
They're frozen with shock. What, you're going to buy us a laptop? So we'll wait for them to refresh.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, just to clear it up, sometimes in the community we can move faster than some of the systems and processes that are in place.
Rapid.
And that's the beautiful thing about strengthening and developing a network. So on behalf of the Purple Roomz, Mick, I want to thank you for that donation, and I'm sure they'll be over the moon and they're frozen with it.
It's off now. That's how rubbish.
I've got to graft it first, babe. I've got to go and graft one first.
I have every faith in you, Mick.
Yeah, man.
Every faith.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Put them transferable skills to you.
Exactly. Right.
This has been the beauty of this space as well, hasn't it? Bringing everyone together. I mean, really with a true heart, no motive, because we haven't got one because we can't go out.
Yeah.
But bringing us all together on this space. They're going to be popping in and out of bed all night.
Here we are.
The girls, but we're going to drop a bit of love in the world.
I don't know if you caught a hold of that Purple Roomz, but Mick has said that he will.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi went off. Sorry, Pete.
Right. So Mick has said that he's going to sort you guys out with a laptop. So he's going to donate that.
So Dan's my lead in there, and then Dan's going to be moving on soon because you got a place, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah, I've got my own place on Monday. Yeah. Can I just add as well? We haven't got the tablet at the moment. We're on a RRose laptop at the moment.
Well, at least you've got one.
Yeah, we're on at the moment. Yeah. But we've not got the tablet going yet, but we'll do soon.
For the viewers,
Oh, Jack! Hi, Jack! Oh, Jack! The manager's in the
Hiya,
house.
Jack.
Hi, Jack. Oh, I love them guys.
tell the viewers and the listeners what the Purple Roomz are.
Right. So Purple Roomz. By the way, before I do that, I'll just mention this is Hayley. She moved in yesterday. Now, originally, we was going to get Yvonne to do like the signing in and signing out if I wasn't in, but Yvonne stepped down from that. So Hayley is going to do that.
Welcome to the team, Hayley.
Hello.
Yeah, she's keen to get involved in that. We're just telling her what it's all about and that. And I only mentioned it 5 minutes ago, and she's jumped on the meeting with us anyway. So
Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me.
So yeah. Anyway, Purple Roomz is where they've placed people who are homeless and who need housing through the COVID-19 situation. Get people off the streets, and they've put a lot of people in here. Not just that though, but there are people who struggling to find a place and whatever. And this is where they bridge the gap, so to speak. You do get like quite a high turnover of people in and out here, but there's been a lot of progress recently, and a lot of people are finding places to go now. So there's quite a lot of people be moving out in the next few days and whatnot. Like I said, I'm moving myself on Monday, so I'm keen to get back involved and climb that ladder again. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on it, really. It's nice though. Don't get me wrong. I tell you what, it's like a Premier Inn travel lodge. Like the rooms are lovely, the staff are lovely. They do anything to help you. So you get fed well here. I was 12 stone when I come. No, I'm just joking. I'm lying.
You painted a lovely picture of it. It's a great place.
It is a good place. It's helped a lot of people. You know what I mean? God knows where they'd be without it, to be honest.
But the truth of the matter is, there's also a lot of stigma wrapped around it, and some of the people in there are facing quite a lot of adversity. That's
true.
Bare bones of it, isn't it?
That's true, Pete. Yeah, they are. And it's give people a footing, to get back on that ladder and give them a kick up the behind to sort of like chase down the future for themselves. And that begins with getting a bit more permanent places to stay and that. And like I said, we were introducing the Zoom meetings and that now. So it's just about getting the word of mouth out there and getting people involved and getting them actively chasing it down. So try and get the numbers up in it, and hopefully everyone can find recovery.
And that's recovery in your own language, whatever that is to you. That because there's no saying you're not. Do you know what I mean? And that's for you as well, Dan, to identify the next one, each one, and pass it on. So then you'll be identifying somebody else.
Yeah. Can I just big up Lisa Grainey in the house?
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh, how are you doing, love? You all right?
Yeah, I'm lovely, thank you.
Good.
Dan, really, we're going to come back to you guys. Just do a quick round of introductions. So hang tight. We're going to come back and hear.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So just a quick round of introductions. Now we'll get straight on with the agenda. So Peter Sheath, zooming in all the way from
Warrington.
Great to have you, Peter.
Awesome to have you.
Great. It's great being in. It's great bumping into some of the people that I've not seen for ages. Great seeing you, Lisa.
And you, Pete.
And Matt. I don't know where he's gone, but great seeing Matt, and it'd be great to see Peter as well. So yeah, and I wouldn't mind just sharing with you when I get chance, sharing with you what I'm doing at the moment, because it's quite exciting.
Absolutely.
It's kind of enlivened an old bloke, so I'm quite pleased with what I'm doing at the minute. So I'll tell you about it when I get chance.
Nice one.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Looking forward to hearing it, Peter. It's like a reunion, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
What the class of what would it be?
Acid house casualties.
Yeah. Anyway, move on. Great.
Thanks, Pete.
Next.
Matt Southwell in the house.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thanks, Matt.
Short and sweet, saving the best.
Lisa Grainey.
Grainey.
Hi, I'm in middleweight tonight.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you got on.
And you, I miss you.
I miss you too. You're going to tell us all about what you've been doing, though, aren't you?
Yeah, of course will. Yeah.
And then we've got Lynn. Last minute Lynn zooming in with a new flavour. You're going to tell us all about that, aren't you, Lynn?
I am. I'm Linny. I'm from Skem, so the Skemmers are in the house tonight.
And you've been really active today, haven't you, Lynn?
I have, Pete. I've been really active today.
Hold tight, and you're going to hear about that shortly. And we've got Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm from lead volunteer at RRose North and an advocate of the Lancashire User Forum. And the reason I'm looking down is because I'm doing the shout outs. I'm only here for the first half of the show due to personal issues. But please like and share. And when I'm looking down, I'm not being rude, I will shout your name out. So questions, fire, like and share.
Brilliant. And then we've got the not so sinister minister. Mick
Well,
Fleming.
that's right. I'm Mick, Pastor Mick, from Church on the Street Ministries. That is a church on the street, literally, doing all the stuff. So yeah, and I'm in recovery and I love it. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh,
Nice one, Mick. And then we've already met Hayley and Dan from the Purple Roomz. We've got Glenn, our very own wing pilot.
Yes.
Hey everybody, yes,
The big brother chair.
me. Yeah, I'm Glenn. I'm team leader for RRose Recovery and advocate for Lancashire User Forum. And along with Lindsay, I'll be scanning the comments. So if you've got any comments, get them in. And also, at the end of the show, I'll be doing the live draw. You can only enter the live draw if you like and share, both like and share. So
okay.
Like and share.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. So coming live and direct at you now. There is 32 people watching, so if you start liking and sharing, you might get an hour's worth of good stuff. I just want to say, look, Lynn, already there's loads of love coming in for you and your new haircut, darling. Loads of love. You know, Rihanna Davis, Lorna Simpson, Darren Bird, a lot of people, Michaela Chapman, saying well done, Linny, but we're going to come to you in a minute for that. Are we having Matt Southwell up first? Because he's got to go, hasn't he?
We are, yeah. Matt, thanks for coming. I know today you've been spending time with family and you've very graciously pulled away from that to come and share some of your experience and tell us about what's going on. But can I just ask you, is it pronounced Bath?
I think it depends how posh you are. Yeah, so it's Bath or Bath, depending on which part of England. But I think if you come from the west of England, it's Bath.
Bath. Okay.
And this is a guy who really advocates. You know, this is a guy who, Matt, you tell us and our viewers who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I was one of the UK's first harm reduction workers and did 10 years running harm reduction services and being a hospital manager. Then in 1999, I came out publicly as a drug user on a BBC Top TV documentary, ended my NHS career very, very quickly. And then since that time, I've been organising both at a UK level and then internationally, helping form the international network of people who use drugs. And I'm now half-time project executive for the European network of people who use drugs. And then I work the other half of my time as a technical advisor, particularly helping drug users around the world organise and contribute to harm reduction.
That's a lot there. I'm still stuck on ended my career. And is that because it's criminalised, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I ran a team where we were the first people to employ people on methadone and active drug users in our team. There was always an acceptance of it, and we were an award-winning team for what we did. I think my managers always thought it was safe while they had this wonderful non-drug using Matt Southwell running it as the professional head and manager. when I sat down with my chief executive and said, look, no, I'd like to do this TV documentary, and I'm sure it won't be a surprise to you to tell you that I've not just been a facilitator of these groups, but I've also been a member. And as my chief executive's jaw hit the floor, I thought, okay, that was a much, much bigger surprise to you than I thought. And I went on to be sacked by a gay man living with AIDS and a Jewish communist who was my chief executive. And they really struggled to see the connections between our different struggles. They came out of two communities that have been highly, highly stigmatized, yet they went on to stigmatize me from my community. And what's surprising was they said, we're not stigmatizing, we think you're very courageous doing what you're doing. It's just that because you're the head of elderly services, we couldn't afford to bring the stigma of you coming out publicly as a drug user onto our hospital. That was their justification. But I got a 6-month payoff to go away quietly because I was a very successful manager, so they couldn't. No, they tried to sack me for incompetence, but the unions laughed them out of the room. So I got a payoff, and I used that money to help set up the UK drug user movement.
And you've you come in and did some work with me and Emma around this naloxone. And we're really fortunate for having met you, Matt, and again, thanks for coming on. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to around your neck of the woods, Matt.
Yeah, look, one of the things that's really interesting for me is that I moved away. Coming out publicly, I sort of ended my career as a harm reduction worker, but I then became a technical advisor. Last year, I was helping the Nigerian government introduce needle and syringe programs, which unfortunately were stopped by COVID, but they're on the verge of starting needle and syringe program. And importantly, using drug users and their organisations as the people to deliver the front end of needle and syringe programs across the different states of Nigeria, and big up to the Duran network in Nigeria. So I've been stopped from travelling internationally because of COVID, and so because our local drug services had to pull back to create safety for their staff, we essentially were running a small-scale secondary needle and syringe pilot, and also this peer-to-peer naloxone work that we were doing. And we've essentially scaled that up. We're now giving out 1,500 needles and syringes a week through local drug suppliers and local drug users. And it's challenging. Like we were talking before we came on about the rise in violence on the drug scene at the moment. I was assaulted 2 weeks ago, and it's a challenge in the work we're doing. But that's what drug users have to manage. When you're running these types of situations, we do have psychopaths running around trying to rob other drug users, and when we're trying to set up things to help each other, there are always those people who are a bit more parasitical, who don't see our lives as community. They see it as somehow putting their needs above everybody else's, and at the moment that's really messing up some of the work we're doing locally, and we've had to pull back, particularly from a crack pipe pilot we were about to start, just because the space isn't there right now because of the situation with violence. But it will pass, and we'll come back.
Did you say then, sorry Matt, did you say then you got attacked this week?
A couple of weeks ago, I got someone robbed me, and then when we had a discussion about the fact I got robbed me, the guy attacked me. But I restrained him. But unfortunately, when people pulled me off him, because he then gouged me and bit me and scratched me. But no, but it was also a lesson for him, because I didn't attack him back. I could have knocked him out, and I didn't. And I restrained him and pulled him down, and the fact he thought he'd won this fight because I didn't respond in the way that he expected with a load of violence, and actually he's since apologised to me, and it's been a point of learning for him about you don't always have to respond in these types of situations with violence to violence. There's other ways of dealing with these types of situations.
Absolutely.
You really widened my thinking when you come down to Lancashire, and we jointly set up an naloxone pilot. You introduced me to a new concept around privileged access. There's a group of people out there who are a part of this drug using community, and those people have got something that traditional professionals haven't. They've got privileged access directly into the space that they socialise in, and as such, we should value that technical skill, that ability. And we started to have really interesting conversations about how we might tap into that privileged access. And I thank you for that, because we were right on the same page, weren't we?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, one of the things I really like is being able to mix this experiential learning of how we learn things through the doing, and then working alongside academics and people writing guidelines and understanding the different theories that go on. And then for me, I always learn through experience first, but I like learning the theories that explain why it was that it worked. That's how I think. And look, I mean, I think communities of drug users are very different. And I think I understand why people, when they stop taking drugs, look to sustain different types of community. What many people say when they leave heroin is, look, no, heroin was my community. It was, I was often heroin users will talk about being outsiders, and heroin gave them community. It was an outsider community, but it was still community. So I understand why recovery communities serve a very important purpose for people. They sustain that sense of community while allowing people to make changes with their substance use. For me, I find my sense of community among active drug users, but I also see solidarity between people who have different experiences of drug taking. And I think we are strongest when we stand together. It's really easy to find the reasons why we're different and how we use different terminology, and why that means we shouldn't communicate with each other. Whereas for me, I like to see the heart at the center of what we do. The words just describes the heart, and I think what I see when you do your work is it's a clearly heart-driven work, and I appreciate that and recognize that as what I'm trying to do with it.
Lisa, can you go on mute? It's coughing all over the screen.
Okay.
Matt, I just wanted to say that you're a great teacher for me as well. But you've always got a place, and I feel that with you as well. And I wasn't part of the NTA generation. I came in a bit later, so I've never known it be divisive. I've always wanted to bring it together, and my heart is actually in that. And I know our guys. I was saying, Matt, tell your story, because I love our guys hearing that. That, and you are very professional. And if you ever want anything pulling together rapid, academic, Matt's your man.
Yeah,
we can, we do the.
It's taught us a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, we love you dearly. So the last time we hooked up was right at the beginning of COVID, wasn't it? When I was texting you saying, "Is this the end?"
Yeah, and we've nice opportunity now, because we've been doing this coordination work, which Pete's been contributing to, and you've been contributing to, Emma, which Release was organising, and this has been about trying to keep the government aware of what's been happening among drug users and what's been going on among quality of drugs, but also some of the dynamics on the drug scene. And Public Health England then thanked Release for this work and said, look, we've got £5,000 that we want to give you to support this coordination work. But the 9 drug user groups that now make up this consortium of UK drugs groups that are trying to get money for drug user organising, which LUF is part of, Release actually very kindly said, look, we think that 5,000 could be much better spent by the drug users than us having it. So what we're now going to do is document this secondary needle and syringe program, this drug user-led model in Bath, and then we're going to be giving out, I think, 5 or 6 £500 grants to other drug user groups around the UK to give people a chance to try and experiment with this privileged access model of secondary needle and syringe program. Because I think we've shown in Bath that actually this is not just a response to COVID that works, it's actually the way we should be doing it. We've actually been able to put much better quality equipment right close to people using. We had we had a surge of cocaine injecting in our town, and that was exactly the situation that led to the Glasgow HIV outbreak. And because we were giving out so many needles and syringes at the point where people were using, we didn't have an HIV outbreak. But I think it was a close run thing.
Matt, can I just bring in Lindsay? Have we got some questions from the community?
Yes, there's a massive. It's going fast again tonight. I've never seen it. It's just crazy tonight with the shout outs and the love and the shares and the likes. Just a quick run off of some names. Heidi Ingham, Andrew Michael, Darren Bird, Leanne Moore, Maria Hampton. But there's a guy on specifically, and I've messaged him back and said I will get some advice for the guy. David Simpson. He's struggling to get off methadone. And there's another lovely guy on who's helping him, which is happening a lot on here. It happened the other week. John Roberts, thank you to John, who's sort of offering advice for him, but he's got a key worker called Stephen in St Anne's, and he's not he's trying to track this guy down, and he's really, really struggling to get help. He feels like he's on his own. He's saying he didn't sleep for 2 weeks. His skin crawled. He's had bad flu. How does anyone cope? He sounds quite desperate. So just to put that out there, if there's anyone out there can, you know, to help David. He sounds quite.
Where David what?
He's trying to get hold of his key worker. He's struggling to come off methadone. His key worker Stephen in St Anne's. He's been trying to ring him for a week, and he feels like he's on his own.
You need to just get linked in on here, because we could do with some service user voice activity in St Anne's. So Lorna, if you're watching, can you pick that up? It's called David and he's on the thread now. If not, Michaela, I know you're watching. Can you pick him up as well, please?
Yeah, Michaela and Lorna are both watching. So yeah, they are on live now. So yeah, hopefully they'll pick up as well. So
Matt, just picking up on, you know, the privileged access and the peer-to-peer distribution networks. There's a Rhiannon Davis is saying there's a massive problem in Wales. Hep C has grown, and I know there's a lot of work happening around Hep C. But some of the things we've been doing in Lancashire is working alongside the nurses and the doctors and the professional clinical organisations to say, look, we've got a network, we've got privileged access into a recovery community and a drug using community. Why don't you share some of that resource you've got, so we're not scratching around for laptops? You know, we can remunerate our guys who've got technical skills and abilities, and we can give them a sense of purpose in their life by helping you to find people who you can't contact, you can't connect with. And you know, the saying, tell us a little bit more about that. Describe it in a vernacular we can understand. Put it in a proposal that we can take to our board. And we've just plucked a figure out the air. We said, right, £100 a person. And they've said, yeah, you know, for every person you find us that hits this criteria, so it's not just bodies you're putting forward, we will we'll invest in it, and that enables us then to organise and mobilise on more of an efficient and practical standing, where we're being recognised as having a valued contribution, but also given the autonomy to say, right, we're going to make some decisions, and we're going to show you that we can, I suppose, have a really valued contribution. And that really, we're seeing that pay dividends in people's lives, particularly people who are tapping in tonight for the first time from the Purple Roomz, who've only probably been exposed to one sense of community in which they're maybe not flourishing. Now they can see another community where maybe their past experience of the negative way they've led their life could be of value, and that as peers we will
embrace that. Absolutely.
Look, I mean, it's a real sadness that the UK, on one level, is great that we are one of the countries that has committed itself to the elimination of hepatitis C. I've met with the people leading the UK response, and they acknowledge that the one part of the strategy that we don't have that other countries do have is community mobilisation. So if you look at look at Norway, for example, Norway has drug users who are equipped with a bus that can do its own hepatitis C testing, fibre scanning. They can get people right through the whole testing process onto treatment, and they drive around different open drug scenes in Norway, drawing people into treatment. That's what you've got to do to get rid of elimination. There's no point in having wonderful consultants, wonderful machines stuck in hospitals if the drug users in the community don't make it in.
Absolutely.
I think, and I have to say, I'm pleased that the leading people are saying, yes, we recognise we don't have this, and please could you help us? So I think your approach at the local, that's why we need to form this consortium together, because we need to also be able to speak to the people running the national programme so that they talk to the local people and say, this is part of good practice, you ought to be doing it. It's the nice standards on meaningful public and patient participation, lay out very clearly what the National Health Service should be doing involving people. When they introduced those standards, I was asked to speak at a conference, and my point to them was, these guidelines are wonderful, but you never employ them with people who use drugs. We are seen as the exception because somehow we're seen as dysfunctional and unable to actually meaningfully engage in our own healthcare. And the problem is that infantilizes us and treats us like we can't manage our healthcare, and then that becomes a lived reality. What we're showing through your work and through our work is whatever stage, whether we're active drug users or whether we're in recovery, we have a very powerful role to play in helping our community access and engage in services.
Yeah. Rise up, leaders.
Catch a hold of this. If you're watching from other parts of the UK and you think, oh, that's piqued my interest,
get involved.
Catch a hold of this, because I'm going to give it you for nothing. I was talking to one of the senior members in the sector, and I was asking him, so what's different then? Why did we have a different experience in Lancashire as opposed to other parts of the country? And he said to me, Peter, you made it easy for us to engage with as the sector, as the clinical service. And I said, tell us what you mean by that. And we had a discussion about stigma and how a lot of people internalise that stigma and they don't fully understand it. So they get angry about it. And the people who want to help them then tend to be the focus of that anger. He said, with you guys, Peter, you made it really easy for us to engage with you. And I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to make it easier for people to engage with us and then describe how we can help them meet the same outcome, because we all want the same thing.
But that's where we do come in, isn't it? Sometimes it's relaying that information back into a system that is understood.
Look, I think the challenge sometimes is also when you've not been listened to for decades.
The
first time you are listened to, you do this venting process. And I've done it when I've run community consultations. It's overwhelming. Suddenly people are telling you 10 years of angst, 10 years of trauma, 10 years of not being listened to. And the problem is when professionals get met with that, it's like, oh my God, I was only asking you to tell us that we know. I only wanted you to tell us that we were doing a good job. I didn't really want to hear what you were saying. And then what they don't understand is that if you listen to that venting, then the next time it gets easier. And then the next time it gets easier because people have been heard. The problem is in the face of that venting, people often respond with defense and rationalization and justification. And then people go, see, I told you we couldn't listen to us. And then it all breaks down. And then people think, these drug users, you can't talk to them. They're totally unreasonable. But actually, it's about not understanding the process. And you guys understand that. You know how to mediate these relationships. And that's why we have privileged access. We understand our community.
Yeah.
Matt, I could talk to you all night.
I know.
But we've got a lineup of guests. And I know you've got a brother-in-law to get back to.
Is there any main message you've got for anyone out there, Matt?
Yeah, just really to say to you, look, we have a Slack group, which is a communications channel. If you've got my email, please, we're really trying to gather drug users together. Doesn't matter whether you're active drug user, in recovery, a service user, whatever it is. If you're committed to caring for your community and responding to your community from a harm reduction, mutual support position, please come and join us. We're trying to create a voice for drug users of all types so that the government actually listens to us in planning services.
Oh, Matt, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt.
And I do just want to put it out there as well that if you are watching and you are using service, what does service look like in the future? What does it look like? Comment, your voice can be heard, especially up in the north, St Anne's, Morecambe, Lancaster, Fleetwood. There is a lot of engagement in Preston, Chorley and Skene because we're quite active down there. So where we are, the heart of it, we kind of have a ripple effect on people in the community, don't we? But we've not been up to the north for a while. So I want to hear you. What does service look like moving forward? And thanks, Matt. I hope you've got some stuff from that, Linny.
Sorry.
As the service user voice up in Skene. Because Matt's kind of very beautifully articulated what I bang on about all the time, really, there, hasn't he?
Definitely he has, and he's right in what he's saying. People are angry because they haven't been listened to. Do you know what I mean? And it's getting past that now, trying to move forward and say, well, all right, let's do it now. Let's start from now. What do you want? How do you like this? What do you want your services to be like? You know, and give them the choice to make a change. You know, help us make them change it for what's best for them.
Yeah.
There's something different about you tonight. Quite. Sorry. Go on.
Oh.
I bought it right in, didn't I?
So tell us what you've done then, Lynn, there with your hair. Oh, you look amazing. It so suits you. Really suits you. What a brave, bold woman. I'll tell you what, my hat's off to you, hair's off to you. I might even just do that for you, so you can feel nice. Honestly, you know what? I absolutely adore you.
Thank you.
Tell us what you've done.
Right, every year we always do, as a family, do Race for Life or some type of charity for cancer, because it runs through the family and loads of people are affected by it, you know, and it's something that none of us have any control of. So we couldn't do it this year because obviously lockdown. So we're always thinking of ways to do it. And Brave for Shave come up, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll do that. That's all right. I'll do that. I can do that. I'll shave my hair off. So I did. And I signed up for it. And 3 weeks ago, I thought, you know what, I can do this, it's all right. But you know, as the weeks roll on and it like comes to the deadline, I have personally gone through so many emotions in the last 2 days that, like, obviously my mental health, I'm trying to keep my mental health side steady, because like, I don't know how am I going to react? Am I going to lose the plot? Am I doing the wrong thing? Am I doing the right thing? And I thought, well, do you know what? Hair grows back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when you die cancer, you can't come back, but hair grows back, and it's so important to me. So I thought, I'll do it. So yes, today at 1 o'clock, I shaved my hair off, which, guys, by the way, was right down to my bum. And I've never, ever, in my 50 years of life, ever had short hair. Ever.
So how did you feel when it come off?
Emma, I was so scared. Honestly, I was so scared. And it was like, when it was done, it was all right, because the grandbabies was there, and I was scared the grandkids wouldn't come near me, but they were all right. But I wouldn't look in the mirror, Emma, for like an hour and a half. Everyone was taking pictures and saying, have a look, and I'm like, I can't. But it's not as bad as what I thought it was. I'm still grey, Emma. So
well, me and Lynn had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about the menopause, weren't we? It seems to be all talk about these days.
Yeah.
But you were saying about your hair's thinning as well, isn't it? Because my hair's thinning, and then you'd mentioned that you was having it shaved off.
I know. But you know what, Emma, I'm hoping for, you know, when I have the hot flushes, and all the women out there will know this, when you get a hot flush, the sweat and everything. I'm hoping now I've got short hair, Emma, I won't go as hot. Do you know
you can just get your handkerchief off and wipe your head.
So anyway, at 1 o'clock I did it, and so far, because like fun, it's still getting, obviously I'm still getting sponsored in and stuff, so far I've raised £1,170 so far. So yeah, so it was worth it. Do you know what I mean? Imagine what that money can do. Do you know what I mean, for the Macmillans and stuff? So what here has actually gone to the Princess Trust. So it's going to help little girls with wigs, you know, that are going through treatment. Amazing. So it's worth it. Losing my hair is worth it, isn't it?
She's my hero.
Oh, are you guys
Lynn, so do you want to tell the viewers how they can donate for a great cause?
Well, maybe he does.
Yes, well, I don't know how I'm going to do that, Glenn, because I'd have to get the link off work and put the link up on the LUF if I'm allowed to do that. So that they can
of course you are.
Yeah, well, you can.
And
Can I just come in as well? I think you're a massive inspiration, Lynn. Obviously, I rung you before and told you, but I want to also let the viewers know. So this week, there's two individuals, Daniel Littlechild and Barbara English, that's just been employed by Red Rose Recovery. And I just want to give them a massive shout out. And also, Lynn, that the support that you've given the volunteers up in Sken is credit to you. So well done. So a massive shout out to Dan and Barbara, and they're going to be starting next week.
Okay, brilliant. Can I just bring in Lindsay? Is there anything from the community there?
Oh, lots. We've got massive support from Lorna and Michaela for David Simpson, and I'm just messaging myself now because he's saying how you are all so nice. I'm just not used to this in my life. God bless his heart. So, and it's lovely. Lorna and that are on board that and giving him advice. Shout outs for there's so much love for our Linny. Wow, what a woman. I did that 15 years ago for Children in Need. I loved being bald, but fair play. I didn't have hair like yours. Joe Duffield in again, sharing and liking, Mags Burritt, Jill Stokes, Hannah Lodge, Leanne. There's just absolutely tons and tons of. There was a question, but I've kind of gone past where I need to be, and I'm in the middle of a reply from, I think it was from Marianne Davis. Have you got it there, Glenn? Is he listening?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Was there a question? I think I'm just halfway through replying to David Simpson. Sorry, so I can't scroll back. I'm sure there was quite a long question from Rianne Davies.
I've just been doing a bit of scrolling, and James Olding Hames has said,
James.
Hiya, James. I've checked your financial records. Out of 700k, you raised and spent 450k in salaries in 2019. I just want to say every penny we raise gets reinvested back in. The little bit of discrepancy. What you're not understanding is we fought really hard to get a building recovery innovation chest from Lancashire County Council, and that money, it doesn't come to us, it goes through us to people out in the community. So that might be why it looks like we've got more coming in and less going out. But let me just reassure you, every year we spend nearly more than what we pull in, and our reserves, we need a little bit of reserves to keep the charity going for 3 to 6 months in case something happened and we had to wind down. We fought really hard to get that building recovery innovation chest, the brick fund. And I think next week, as we have a community slot, we invite our managing director on to like clear up that post. I think that's right and proper. Do you?
I think also that's a really great question, mate, honestly. And the questions I asked on Friday, who's sat on the board, who's doing this, them questions, keep asking them. You know, we're transparent. Yeah. You know,
can I just butt in a second? I know you was in the middle of speaking, but I keep getting prompted, Emma, to we've got a lad here who has a bit of a story to tell, and apparently he knows you a little bit. So when you get a minute, I'd like to pass you over to Liam.
Awesome.
So let me know.
All right, darling. No
worries.
No worries. Hi, Liam. Welcome to the LUF Lounge, live and direct in our lounge. Just back to James a minute. Good, great, James. Just keep asking him questions. Jump on board. The more you get involved, the more you know, because it's a really transparent organisation. And I just think we should. Now you've just like knocked me right off, Liam. You've just knocked me right off my thread. But Lynn, you look amazing. I love your little head. Hello, head. Hello. And I think you should get some glasses that go like that.
No, Emma, no.
All right, work on it. You look amazing. And you know what? My dad used to say, my dad died of cancer 2 years ago. My dad used to say, what is the difference between a good and bad haircut? A couple of days.
Yeah.
2 days. 2 or 3
And
days.
you can always wear a hat, Emma, can't you?
Absolutely, darling. You style it right out. I'm dead proud of you. Absolutely proud. Get that link put in onto the Facebook page so that people can donate. How long's left to donate?
I think I've got 2 weeks, I think, Emma. I think I've got 2 weeks. So.
Thank you, Linny. I'm just going to have to bring in the guys at the bottom, which is, in my head, the Purple Roomz crew.
Yeah. And we've got Hayley.
Hello.
Hi, Hayley. Hi, Liam.
So we've got
Can I
Hayley.
just say, Lynn, can I just say you've given me goosebumps?
Oh,
It's absolutely amazing what you've done.
Thank you, love.
Honestly.
Thank you.
Very so brave.
Hayley, if you get involved, we'll meet Lynn at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Really
Nice one, yeah,
Definitely.
brilliant.
Definitely.
Okay, guys in the rooms. Liam?
You alright? Yeah, you alright?
Yeah, you love. Oh, do you know?
Yeah. That's all.
We didn't hear you.
Nah, the main reason I wanted to speak to you is obviously I want to try and come up with something so I can stay out of jail and stop like committing crimes and things like that. Do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Obviously there is a story to me. There is like obviously what's happened at home and things like that and how it's happened and things like that. And to tell you the truth, I don't really want to be going back down and past again, being stuck here, being skinned, and then having to go back out and do them things again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not even for me no more, it's for my family. Like, I'm changed to this place, so if I carry on doing what I'm doing, I'm just going to get myself known again in the same area. And if I get myself known again, what's the point in changing my life around just to go back to what I was doing at home anyway? I've left home for a reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you don't need to say what that reason is on here at all.
Yeah, of course.
However, what I do know is that I'm spotting potential, and everyone's got potential, and everyone's got potential anyway. But if you want to do that, you know, Liam, and you want to step up, then, you know, you can do that where you're at right now. You don't have to wait.
Yeah, I know that.
Goes in there.
Yeah, I know that. I just feel like I need a bit of support to get to that stage rather than on my own, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know where to come or what to do about it.
Well, we're going to get, we're going to pull Glenn in a minute, but we're going to get Scott down there to you guys as well to do some little groups on the car park and stuff. And then you can follow the path that your mum has, you know, because your mum was in there with you, wasn't she?
She's there. She stood right there listening
to
you.
Oh my God, Joanne! What are you doing there?
Come to bring him back. We had a night with the kids last night with the young ones, so just as a family unit together. So
how's the new house?
Lovely. Well, I'm still on my own, but I'm on my own, yeah.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh.
It's a start, Joanne.
It is. It's a big start.
Liam, you're on our radar.
You're on the radar now, love.
We know who you are, and you know there's a couple of key guys who we're going to, you know, drop into your world. Yeah. What I will say is there's opportunities for you to change your life, man. But
yeah, no. That's why I've made myself noticeable in it, and that's why people come to use instead of you trying to I like to work with yourself. Do you know what I mean? That's why I made myself noticeable to you.
Yeah, absolutely, you have, mate, absolutely. And watched your mum as well fly off from there and get a little place. We keep freezing.
The house that you've moved into, Joanne, is lovely.
It is, yeah, it is. Just on my own at the minute, but it's nice.
Yeah,
big shout out.
Do you know, and it's like just a word of encouragement. We've been there, it was probably about 12 years ago. Go on, yeah. Tell us.
What?
I was just saying, I was in that same position. 12 years ago, me and Libby was in a homeless hostel.
Yeah.
You know, what I can categorically say to you is to get from where you are to where I am. You're not going to do it on your own. You're going to do it wrapped around some good people. And I know you've got them in your world, Joanne.
It's just done me some justice, Scott getting a grip of him in the car park and him coming here, and that's a big move for him as well. Do you know what I mean? If we can all move forward, then we can go forward together.
Absolutely. Well, beautiful to have you in the house tonight. I'm just going to go over to Lindsay. And Glenn, is there any questions from the community?
Yeah. Rianne Davis, there's just a question, just bear with. My son's dad is in prison but wants to come to Lancashire. He's unscripted. He wants recovery homes, but he's struggling to get advice on moving on after prison. It's not a good idea for him to go back to Wales because there's too much recovery around that. What does he need to do? So just advice moving on after prison, and he wants to be in Lancashire.
So
Sorry, I'm just reading that live as it comes through.
There's not much recovery in Wales, so that's what he's saying on the feed. Well, you know, I know Dave Iron came out of prison, and he's not frightened of saying there wasn't any recovery up around where he went, and he built it. You know, he pioneered it. So, you know, you can't always walk into a ready-made package. You know, I know the guys who are in the prison system, they've got something about them. They just need someone to show them what to do.
And permission.
And permission, yeah. You know, so why don't you go and be the catalyst in Wales? That's what I would say, Rianne. And now we've got
Yvonne in the house.
We've got technology, so we don't have to come all the way to Wales to meet. We can do it over these types of platforms. So get into touch base with us, Rianne.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any more, Lindsay?
David Simpson still on, bless him. Oh God, there's so many.
Come on, get through them then.
Hi, Michaela. Michaela, Lorna, Heidi Ingham, David Simpson again, David Simpson, Rianne, Joe Duffield, Jill Stokes, Mags Burray.
Brilliant.
James. You've probably seen James's reply. He's happy with what he's told him, Pete. He's put another, I've thanked him for his comment.
Awesome.
I've got one from Darren Bird.
Oh, and sorry. Can I just say, please like and share, or you don't win the prize, or you don't get entered into the prize.
Thanks, Lindsay. Glenn.
Yeah, Darren Bird, it's for Emma and Peter, so I'm just going to read it out, saying how we're going to move forward after lockdown, and also what about people with alcohol? It seems to be just about needle users and people who are smoking heroin.
Well, it was that specifically. Hi, Darren, by the way. I'm glad you're on here. Just specifically because that's what Matt Southwell does with Impud, was about people who use drugs. So he was going on about the needle provision and peer-led services. However, Darren, that is a really good point, because I do believe that when we come out of COVID, there's going to be a lot of alcoholics. You know, there's a lot of people drinking at the minute, and service needs to prepare for that as well. So they are really. Can
I ask the viewers a question then? Do you think services should distribute alcohol like they do, you know, methadone? Do you think, you know, especially in current crises, do you think you should be able to go and get alcohol from treatment if you're dependent? It's a question. What do you think? Anyway, we had one of our guys dropping in the Purple Roomz, but she's gone again now.
I wanted to introduce Yvonne as well. Is she around, Yvonne? Dan?
Sorry, she's gone.
Right, okay. See, you've got to catch her while you can.
Try and get her, but she's a bit nervous.
Yeah. Right, just you know, we love her dearly, and we want her to get engaged in our groups.
I'm trying to.
The women need to get around her as well. So,
Lorna, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to get them all involved. You know, I'm trying to get them all involved. Somebody's just gone to look for her now, but whether or not she comes and speaks, I don't know.
Nice one. Jack, hi Jack! Oh, I love Jack. I just want to shout out Jack. He's like a
shout out Jack.
I just want to shout out to Jack. He's a young lad. You know, he's managing that hotel, and he has got a heart. You know, he's got.
You know what?
He's got a heart.
He's
Man. He's a good lad.
He's a decent lad. He's a decent lad. He does a good job.
My new best friend. Cheers, guys. Let me just put you on mute there because we've got a lot of people to get around. Glenn, let's come back to Glenn.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, dude.
You all right? Yeah, so I just want to give a massive shout out to Rodney Graylish. He's linked in the last couple of weeks with groups and that, and has got a lot from it. So I just want to give him a massive shout out. There's Louise West that's watching, or on Louise West. And a special shout out to Rianne Davis. So she started the leadership program on Friday. She had a lot of anxieties around coming into it, and when I spoke to her on Friday after it, she was absolutely buzzing. So I just want to say congratulations, and the fact that I know it was a struggle getting you on there, but it was being worthwhile. So well done.
Yes, Rayanne on the leadership course. What a journey that's been. Amazing. Nice one, Rayanne. I'm really glad you're on there. And I just want to come because I know we've got Peter Sheath and Peter Furlong. Hi, Pete.
Yeah.
Peter Furlong, you look like you're in a foreign country.
It does look
just
like
having after a siesta.
In Spain or somewhere.
No, I'm in my mate's caravan in Cockerham, so I'm in Lancashire for the Lancashire User Forum. How good's that?
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
isn't
nearly
it?
the real deal, isn't it?
Yeah, he could have had us at it then, said you was in Marbella.
I know.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like Marbella.
So we've got a really busy evening
have.
tonight, haven't we?
Yeah.
Loads to go through. I know we've got pick a screen because we've got loads of people that are all important.
I know, and I just want to come to. I just do want to come to Grainey because I know she was nervous about coming on, but I love this woman, and Lisa, tell us what you do because you're not in Lancashire anymore. I miss you.
I know, I miss you too.
Come on, tell us what you do.
all.
Full screen. Let me see you. Where are you? Speak.
Can you see me?
Oh, tell us a little bit, Lisa, about what you're doing. Well, tell us a bit about you. Who are you, anyway?
I'm Lisa, and I'm an addict in recovery. I was a using addict for over 20 years, cracking heroin. I was both a smoker and an IV user. I suffered a lot of trauma in my life. I went into rehab when I was 39. I worked a behaviour programme. I left rehab and went to Emerging Futures Housing as a tenant in Manchester. And one of the managers said to me there, do your recovery coach training and I'll give you a permitted earnings job. The day I'd finished my recovery coach training, I bounced in the manager's office with my bank card in one hand and my certificate in the other. And I was with them for just over 3 years, working in Crewe in transitional recovery housing. I left there and went working in Kerr, which ended up a disaster. I ended up using again for a couple of weeks after being 3 years, 11 months clean. I then moved to Preston and rang you, Miss Daggers, who picked me up. My self-worth, I was ashamed, I was embarrassed that I'd relapsed. You asked me to go on a meeting in the town hall on a female offenders board meeting. I was only 11 days clean and still withdrawing off pre-gambling. Out of that meeting, I met a lady called Alison from the liaison and diversion team who works over in Preston custody, and said, I want you on my team. By the time I was 30 days clean again, I was working in police custody. I've done a few months there, and then Emerging Futures have asked me to come back. So I am now in Middlewich, doing what I do best, by the way. I support our tenants where they're at. Even though my job on paper is just housing, I am not just housing. On a personal level, I go above and beyond for them all. and try and show them the way, and I get good results. Yeah.
Yes,
Come,
great.
Lisa.
That's
Well done.
amazing.
Yes, Grainey. So if anyone is out there watching, you know, it's not, that's really powerful testimony to say, you know, a relapse doesn't define you. It doesn't.
No, not at all.
Relapse, you know, it doesn't mean you've lost everything you've worked for, this and the skills you've gained over the years that you have been around.
A part of me
talk
felt
to that
like,
more.
a little part of me felt like I should have given it up because I'd relapsed. And then I thought, why should I? I have worked so goddamn hard over the years. All that knowledge I've got, why should I just throw it away? So I picked myself back up in a couple of weeks and got myself back doing what I do best, supporting people in addiction.
But you didn't get there on your own, did you, Lise?
Pardon?
You didn't get there on your own. We can't do this on our own, can we?
Oh God, no, not at all, no. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of strong people in my life, and you, Emma, what's been there all the time, what picked me back up when my self-worth was on the floor.
And keeps telling me the pen.
Yeah. So I've come back here a new person, more found worth in myself. So they didn't get the old Lisa back, they got a new Lisa. Yeah, without a doubt. And that was to you, Emma, for on the phone every day, picking me up, taking me doing things, speaker boot camp, getting me involved in everything. Yeah. So you was a massive role in my life, as into this is what you should be doing, and pointing me back in the right direction, and it worked. Because now I'm sat here doing it again.
Yeah, baby. Glories to God.
Yeah. On that note, I just wanted to say, because, you know, although we shout out people on here, you know, people get shout out to you two guys, because just to think of all the people that you've helped, that you constantly help, that just the public speaking, the people you've fed, the people you've housed, the money, the funds and stuff that you've managed to raise, getting everybody involved like this is just, well, it's kind of like beyond words, isn't it, really? And it just goes to show that, you know, you can have anything you want in this life if as long as you're prepared to go out there and get it. Do you know what I mean? And there are people who care and who will put an arm around you, you know, listening here. So thanks, guys. Just, yeah, big shout out to Pete and Emma.
Oh, bless him. Oh, nice one, Dan. But the glory goes to God, Lisa. You know this, not to me.
Of course it does, but I believe that if any addict relapse, if I'm capable of getting a job after 2-week relapse in 30 days clean in police custody, anybody out there can achieve absolutely anything. Absolutely anything.
Can I just lay the record straight a minute? You weren't like bang at it though, were you? You know.
No, I just relapsed. I just picked up, but it didn't matter. I was still shamed, and yeah. To me, it didn't matter how much I'd done it. I'd done it. That's what mattered, and it knocked me for six. The fact that I'd actually done it after 4 years nearly, you don't think that I would go back down that road again. And through some events that had happened, I did it. I owned it, and I got straight back on my feet again.
And we believed in you from day one, and still do. You're a force for good, Lisa Grainey, and we love you. I just want to give you this.
What is it?
Right, you can't speak. You have to just look at the screen now. So that's a Fearless Speaker Bootcamp badge. So they're your Eagle's wings.
Eagle's wings, baby.
And it's
Lisa, a lot of love out there for you. Deb, hi Lisa and Glenn, wonderful to see you. Lisa, you look amazing. I am so proud of how far you've come. It was a pleasure to work with you. You are an inspiration and miss you so much. It's fabulous to see you.
Oh, Deb, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you did in the L&D team. I learned a lot from you, Deb, and I really miss you. I do. I miss you, yeah.
But we're all here. We're all here, Lisa. You're just over there growing in Middlewich. Where's Middlewich?
In the middle of 20,000 kite fields, I am. Oh, I need to say as well, in September, I'm starting my own little thing up in Middlewich. So I had a meeting with the inspector from up here, who has asked me would I do things with addicts and with young offenders on a night time. That's something else I'm going to be doing. So I'll be calling on Emma to come down and do some groups and stuff.
Awesome. I said,
voice,
yeah, mobilise the community.
Yeah, all networking.
Absolutely. And just on that, Lisa, can I borrow your hair?
I need it cutting. I look like a witch.
Lynn, come on, I need you.
Oh, I also need to say as well, Glenn, who was where is he? Let me screen my screen. Hi, Glenn. Can't forget you, darling.
Oh.
Who was a brilliant peer to me as well as my leader in L&D, who put up with all my earache when I was on one. Did you, Glenn?
Yeah, I did. But we all have them moments, don't we? So
yeah,
and you listen to my earache as well. So
that's what it's about, teamwork.
Yeah,
I will say, yeah, you were good at giving the earache out, but it was always for a good reason. It was always to make sure the right thing got done. Yeah. You know, and if there was ever an example of positive disruption, you hit our organisation, Grainey, and you disrupted it positively.
Oh, we love you, man. We love you.
I only want the best for all them addicts out there who think that nobody cares for them, because there's a lot. But when they come into Red Rose Recovery, that's what it's about, isn't it? And I hope to create something up here where these lot can feel loved and have a voice and be heard and action put in around what they say.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a little bit of Emma and I brought it down here, and I'm going to create my own little thing.
She's got a little light, she's going to let it shine. Thanks, Lisa. Good. Lindsay, did you want to come in dead quick?
No, I was just trying to say cheerio, but I didn't just want to disappear.
Oh,
I'm kind of trying to escape to speak to my plumber, but I just wanted to, I didn't just want to disappear off the screen.
Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, I'll be back on again next week, hopefully. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Can you make sure I win this thing? Because I'm quite, you know what I mean? That prize has got to be mine this week. I've liked it and shared it all these weeks because I think it's fixed.
I know, right?
And I'm not handing it over if I win. I'm just saying that. I'll put that there now. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
I'm just thinking, let's just bring God into the house.
Absolutely. Let's hear from Mick Fleming. Mick.
Brilliant. Good evening. So, I mean, I've been a bit blown away tonight. That privilege access thing, and that it's just like I never thought. I never can. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and something that I'd be really interested in to find out a bit more of as well. And also, kind of when Pete asked that question, should alcohol be given out? I'll tell you what, if alcohol had been given out when I was using drugs and drinking, it'd have saved a heck of a lot. I was one of them that just go in the, I'd be in Tesco's and I'd just undo the bottle and drink it in there. And the amount of hassle and aggro and everything else, and the graft and the rattling and the pain and it would have saved, you know. I think that's a definite for me. The amount of money that would be saved criminally, measured, of course. But anyway, that aside, it just got me buzzing tonight. I'm just buzzing with it. So I think listening to Lisa, really, and understanding that your circumstances don't have to define you. And I think I'm going to talk about that. And I think because, you know, I kind of like the work we do on the streets and that, we have a lot of tears on the street. I kind of like that name, Tears on the Street. We kind of hold each other together. So again, circumstances not defining us. So there's a bit of story. I'm just going to tell a little story in the Bible, and it has a kick at the end, which I'd never really looked too much into before. So it's a famous story. So it's Joseph. So it's in Genesis, the first book in the Bible. So there's a geezer, Joseph, lovely man. His father's favourite boy. He's the pretty boy. He's got loads of brothers, loads of them, and they're jealous of him. So what they do, his dad gets him this big fancy coat. He's all best of gear. Comes like net, proper good looking, but he's on it. And they don't like it, his brothers. And what they do, they decide to kill him. And they throw him down a well. But then they change their mind and they sell him into slavery. So Joseph's done nothing wrong. He gets sold into slavery. And he ends up in this place called Egypt. And now Egypt's the centre of the world. It's where the magic happens. It's everything. So he ends up there in this place as a slave. He does such a good job for his master, looking after this house. He raises him up, does his master. He gives him the food, the fancy clothes, and he's doing all right. But his boss's missus, she's a bit naughty and she fancies him because he's a good-looking geezer. He's our Joe. So she's at it. She's at it. She's after him. And he's not like that. He's a good man. He's like, don't want to let his boss down and all that. But she's not having it. She wants him. And in the end, she grabs him and he runs out the house. And the cloak, the tunic, she has it in her hand and he runs out naked. But he gets away from her advances. But she tells her husband that he's tried it on with her. So that's it. Straight into prison. So our Joe, he's done no wrong. Lost his family. Sold into slavery. Now he's in prison because somebody's missus has tried it on with him. And he's sat there and he's, what for done? And he prays. And it turns out Joseph is really good at understanding dreams. And the Pharaoh has a dream and nobody can interpret it, but Joseph does. And he interprets it for Pharaoh. So Pharaoh puts him in charge of everything. He becomes the number 2 in the entire, he's almost number 2 in the world because Egypt is the world at that time. So he's raised up and everything. And his family come because there's famine in the land, and his family come in to get food, but they don't recognise him. So he lets them in, blags them a bit, loads of blagging goes on. Then what he does, he reveals who he is, and the family come back together, united. And that sounds a really lovely, lovely story. But then what it says, what it tells us in the Bible is Joseph has children. And this is what he calls his first 2 sons. One's called Manasseh and the other's called Ephraim. Now, Manasseh means forgetful and Ephraim means fruitfulness. So what he's doing here, Joseph, is he's choosing to forget his past. So not just block it out of his mind, he's choosing not to be trapped in the circumstances of being imprisoned, his family throwing him into captivity, selling him into slavery. He chooses, but not only does he choose, he refuses to pass it on to his children. He's not having it. He's not passing it on to the next generation. And he's not going to be defined by his circumstances, just like Lisa wasn't defined by her circumstance. And his next son is called Ephraim, fruitfulness. So all along, he could see God working. All the way through the pain, God was with him, and it was a plan to raise him up as the story went on. As Joseph thinks, I'm on a downer, I'm on a downer. God's saying, no, I'm with you. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. It's a lot bigger than a day. It's a lot bigger than you. It's bigger than everything. So the word of the week, you're not defined by your circumstance. You're more than that. Look what God's doing in your life. If you don't believe in God, just look, there's a future for you. Do believe there's a future. Just believe there's something more going on. And just think about this, right? If you were defined by your circumstance and you were living on the street, outside, sat on a wall, with a can, crying, and that defined who you were, you'd be hopeless. You'd be absolutely hopeless. when you know that you're hopeless, but there's more to come, you become free. So you're not defined by what happens. The key is, like Joseph, instead of going round the pain and finding an easy way out, if you do what's right and you go through it, you come out the other side into a new life. But we spend all our entire life trying to find the quick way out, trying to find a different way, trying to blag it. But Joseph, he went through the jail. He didn't change his story. He kept to the truth. He went through and he come out the other side to new life. So don't be defined by your circumstance. Be free. See what God's doing in your life and imagine what he's got for you. Imagine you lads and lasses in them purple rooms, what God has got for you. Just imagine what's next. Kick them frigging doors open. Get out. Let's have it. Let's do it. Live not in your circumstance. Live in what's to come. Amen. And that.
Amen. Nice one, Mick.
Nice one, Mick.
So I heard that loud and clear. Do not let your circumstances define you.
Amen.
Beautiful. Thanks, Mick. Lot of love from you. Lot of love for you in the community, my darling. And I see you doing some great work out there. What are you holding church out in the open at 11 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah, it's gone a bit mental, Emma. So what's happening? Because we're church on the street, so we can only have 15 people in our church building inside, so it's pointless opening it. So we're out on the street. So, but we're on Tesco, like car park across from Tesco's, right outside the police station. And I met this girl last week, and I heard her just humming a tune, and she can sing. Yeah. So we got her last week to sing Amazing Grace, whilst all the cons are in the nick inside. Yeah. Imagine waking up Sunday morning after a night out, whatever you've done, you banged up, and Amazing Grace is banging out through the window. Do you know what I mean? And that's what happened last week. So yeah, 11 o'clock every Sunday, church on the street is on the street. And basically we're a load of like alcoholics, drug addicts. You get one or two people who are not, just all coming together, some using, some not. Come down, have a butter, have a brew, and let's smash it together. That's it, basically. Together, we get well together. So yeah.
It's a lovely thought, innit? You're not on your own, shoulder to shoulder with other human beings, other people. I love it, and I think, isn't it just wonderful that you don't have a worship singer and then miraculously in the crowd
there is one emerge.
Yeah, someone comes forward.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Right,
Thanks, Mick.
I've got the the hot phone, the bat phones coming in. Hello.
Right, okay, I just want to, Glenn, do you want to do the shout outs? Because I know there's something just coming off Leanne for Lynn. You're on mute, love.
There we go. I'm here, I'm back.
Because charge on Purple Roomz, I've got to go in a minute, Pete.
So yeah, there's massive shout outs for Lynn. Leanne Moore saying that she so brave and the fact that you're an inspiration, and also that she can't wait to be part of the team and doing courses and stuff with you. So well done. Christine Barker, great words, Mick. Also Hazel Hayes, love this guy. Yep, and massive shout out to Andy Pratt and Darren Bird.
Come on, Pete, say it, baby.
Okay, guys, so really quick from the Purple Rooms, and it's so great that you've come in tonight. Hayley, did you have something to say?
Yeah, just I'm unmuted. Just basically, I started drugs at 14. Been on and off them for about 9 years. I come off them properly in February, and then I had a relapse 2 days ago, which has made me really think like I don't want this life at all. I need to take control because I want to make something out of myself. I do. I'm ready now. I've not been ready before to deal with stuff, but I'm ready now to move forward.
So what you're hearing tonight is good stuff then, isn't it? You're getting some good stuff in your world, and we need to get you in meetings, don't we, love?
Considering that she only found out about all this about 5 minutes before we logged on, because she moved in yesterday, so I collared her outside while we was having a cigarette, told her about it, and then Scott turned up with the laptop. So so I think she's got a wealth of potential, really. You know, a young girl who's got, you know, a brain and a tongue in her head, and she's got a lot to offer. So like, she's going to second when I leave on Monday. She's going to pick up and you know, get people doing the Zoom meetings.
So
and
you're going to pick
signing
up
them
the
up to-
leadership role then, Hayley?
Yeah, if I'm able to, definitely get stuck in and keep busy. Yeah.
And then there'll be some instructions that come with that role as well, and one of them is that you get in a meeting.
Yeah, and also I think she'd be a great to go on like these. You know, you was telling me the other day, Emma, about training.
Yeah,
she'd be good for that.
Yeah.
You know, any kind of training, and getting her doing these meetings, and just because, you know, while she's been listening, she keeps telling me she's getting all her hers standing up on her arms and that, because she's just, you know, mind blown by it. So I think she's got a lot of people she could help.
And that is what this is all about. So I will come down and see you.
She's talking. Sorry, say that again.
You're on mute, guys.
What was I gonna say?
No, you're not now. Speak.
Understand.
Earlier, you're on.
Yeah, it's so good that people actually understand. Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, it's mad that there is people out there that do understand that and that have made something of themselves. It gives you a little bit of hope when you don't have any, doesn't it?
Yeah, hope.
Yeah.
Yes, to go from hopeless to hopeful to then be helpful. Is where you're
There's them goosebumps again. yeah, it does. Definitely.
Well, you're in the Famalam now, so you're on our race plan. You're not getting anywhere.
Thank you.
So I just want to say thanks for listening to the stories and for letting me drone on. And it's nice to see everybody and keep putting in the good work. Unfortunately, our time has come to an end. We're going to have to say goodbye to you tonight now.
Thank you, guys.
We'll log on and I'll try and get as many people signed up. Yeah. And I'll log in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the Zoom meetings.
Thank you. And I'm sure that our Scott Smith, can sort that out there.
Yeah, we'll sort that out with.
Cheers, my mate. Hayley, right. See you. I'll see you again soon.
All right, bye.
Stay blessed, guys. Okay, Peter Sheath, who may be just
in his new kitchen,
vicinity,
in his very new kitchen that's very gorgeous. Peter Sheath, I'm so jealous.
Brilliant. Peter Sheath,
I am so jealous. I do have to say, it's beautiful.
Unmute yourself, Pete.
He's preparing his mules marinade as we speak.
What are you up to, dude?
Say again.
What are you up to? What's going on? What are you doing?
Right. Well, a couple of weeks, well, about a month ago now, celebrated my 65th birthday. Bumped into somebody today that kind of viciously reminded me and said, have you got your pension yet? But of course, you don't get your pension until you're 66 these days. So pension's due next year. But I keep getting these wonderful opportunities. And February of this year, there's some guys that's been pursuing me for ages, which is, it's completely at the other end of the scale from what Matt's doing. And thank you, Matt, for the work that you do. And thank you for sharing it on here, because I think you do an amazing job. But what I'm doing now is completely at the other end of the scale in that I'm working with celebrities, heads of industry, multimillionaires, and people that pay 15 grand a week for my services. So, it's a completely different job. With it comes a completely different set of problems. But in essence, when you sat down with somebody, it's exactly the same whether they're from Croxteth in Liverpool and they're struggling with day-to-day life on the streets of Liverpool, or they head up one of the biggest retail outlets, which is a guy I've just been working with in the country, and he's got an helicopter in the backyard and a private lake and a yacht over in Mallorca. And it's completely the same set of circumstances, but it's just different in that they've got money. The same sort of mental problems, the same character problems, the same sort of struggles with life, the same upbringing problems, the same traumas. But it's just fascinating. It's been an absolutely amazing journey that I'm absolutely loving at the minute, you know. And at any minute I could get like a phone call to say, we've got a guy coming in tomorrow. You need to drop everything, and I need to move in at someone's house. You know, more often than not, it's a big mansion in Cheshire, and babysit them through a detox for 2 weeks, and you know, pull a team together from that, and you know, just develop their recovery that suits them and work on whatever way that they want to drive it. Sometimes it's about abstinence. Sometimes it's about supporting people to learn how to drink better. Sometimes you're using medication to help them to use drugs better. So you can just virtually do anything. You're not tied in with, you know, you've got to do it this way because some guy in Whitehall says you've got to do it this way. It's just like, well, you've got the money, you can pay for it, so we can develop whatever you want. You want round you. So it's just amazing.
Awesome. And there's no better man for it, is there? But I am wanting to say, you know where I am if you need me. 15
Yeah, everybody that I meet says, well, is there any jobs? I get about 2 or 3 people a day on Facebook. You know, is there any jobs at your place yet?
Yeah, but Peter, I'm special.
We're trying to develop a recovery community as we speak that isn't like your traditional recovery community like Red Rose Recovery or Emerging Futures or along that lines. It's kind of a very bespoke recovery community where people, because of their anonymity, can't go to meetings or, you know, they can't expose themselves. And you just like struggle for these people and think, well, what is it out there? You know, how can they get the support and the sponsorship and all them things that come with recovery? How can they get that? But they've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know, in essence,
and there's a valuable point to what you're saying there, because I've got 2 trains of thought there. My first thought was, money can't buy what we've got to offer. But the second train of thought was, yeah, but we have got something that other people haven't. You can't go to uni and learn it, can you? You know, it's a heart language. And damn right, you're getting paid for it, Peter Sheath, in about time.
But sometimes I feel like I've sold my soul to the devil because my heart is with Matt and doing all that stuff. But you know, I'm kind of 65 and approaching retirement, and I'm not going to get like a good retirement pension through working for charities or working for the NHS. Not at my time of life. So the only way I'm going to boost up my retirement income is to sell my soul to the devil and go and work with rich people.
You'll never sell your soul to the devil, Pete, because you're pure. And there's a difference between, you know, knowing what you're worth and buying a new kitchen.
It's there, by the way.
For this, Pete, yeah. Oh, did you get that from your wages?
Yeah.
Oh, Pete. Right, I'm not affected whatsoever. I'm quite okay with it, needing a new couch.
Pete, it sounds amazing, the work that you're doing, and you know, if somebody has got access to resources and they choose to invest them and get the best support they can, that makes complete sense to me. And
addiction has no class, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Has no class.
But when you're dealing with a different class of people, you have to. The rules of engagement are quite different, and if you roll in there and say, "Oh, I can give you this for free," they won't understand that type of concept. So you've got to attach a significant value in order for them to buy into it. And
it's a completely different aspect of privileged access.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel that I've spent my career gaining that privileged access to, you know, like the people that have traditionally worked within the chemsex field or with people who are heroin users or alcoholics, whatever. But now it's kind of gaining that privileged access with footballers and rock stars and heads of industry And it's, you know, it's quite difficult to get your foot in the door, especially if you've got an accent like mine and from Warrington, you know, and you don't speak their language.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to come along with something pretty special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing! I've got loads of sparks going off in my head. I'm thinking of all kinds of things. We need to talk anyway. But listen, you know where we are. You know where I am, don't you?
I do. But
And I mean, I know you're laughing, but I mean it sincerely because you know I'm writing training at the minute as well. So just but you know this anyway, Peter. You know where I am. You know.
But with setting up this network, I mean, it comes with its own problems because, you know, you're trying to set up a network with people that they affiliate to, that they warm towards, and it's a different kettle of fish. So you've got to sort of be really selective on who you pick to work as recovery managers and to facilitate groups in the community. So, you know, and sometimes you make a complete boo-boo because you select completely the wrong person.
We've done that a few times, haven't we?
Yeah.
And
as long as there's learn. Well, I mean, that's part of it, isn't it? Learning.
Yeah.
It's part of it. What would be a bit silly is if you continually select the wrong people. And there's, you know, I think it's great to just hear that you're doing something innovative and exciting, and thanks for sharing it with us. And like Emma's already designing her exit plan from RRose. She's already got one eye on her pension. You know,
scary though when you think about pensions, isn't it? He's right and proper. He's 40. How old are you now, Peter Sheath?
65.
65. Lorna Simpson was just saying, Lorna's totally identifying with you at that age. She's just got her first job for years, you know, and that's a part-time role. Yes, Lorna. But pension, you know, it's like, oh, God, yeah, that's a reality, isn't it?
Do you know?
Well, you might get up one day and you just can't go and do a shift. You know what I mean? And I've just not got the income to sustain my lifestyle by any stretch of imagination, a state pension.
Yeah.
Well, you have got the expertise.
Absolutely,
and you have invested in the knowledge, and that's where I agree with Emma. You know, you've got the expertise, you've invested in the knowledge, you know your value. It's not as if one of the things we was taught, it's going a bit left of centre, this conversation, but one of the things that gets me banging the drum is creating, you know, a level playing field and not just saying people with a lived experience are only good enough to do entry-level jobs, especially when they've been off to university and they've studied and they've got a degree. They should be, you know, they shouldn't be bouncing off that glass ceiling. And that's, you know, that's a marketplace where people respect and value you for your expertise. And if you don't feel valued, then another opportunity comes along, grab it with both hands.
Because we've been talking about this, Peter, for a few years now, haven't we, about attaching value, attach some hands and legs to it. We've got technical experts. What is it, Matt says? Technical consult? No, technical. I need to phone him up and ask him. I need that word in my vocab. But, you know, we are experts by experience, and there comes a time where you have to attach a value to that.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about it for a few years, haven't we, about expert patient movements. You know, you want us to come and do, then you've got to pay us.
Yeah, I think you're completely undersold all the time because nobody values it. You know, nobody values what you bring to the table. Yeah, it's probably the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
And they always ask us to do it for free.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
So how do we, I mean, that's a really interesting topic. What we've got, we want to upscale and we want to do in other areas. But how do we influence the people who've got the power to invest more without that investment?
The power or the money?
Well, investment I'm talking about, because sometimes that investment brings with it a whole set of processes that
Yeah.
sometimes don't fit the purpose.
I think you've got to start looking at it differently, almost like philanthropy. That you do work that you get a good bundle of money for doing it that frees you up to do all the charitable stuff.
Yeah.
And stop going to the government for cap in hand and stop sort of fitting in with their governance system. Because I just think that that's flogging a dead horse and it's not going anywhere. I think that we've got to get really entrepreneurial and start thinking, you've got people over there that's more than willing to pay for my service.
Yeah.
I can juggle the figures and I can free myself up to go and do work in my own community.
And that's where we're at. That's exactly where we're at.
I'm just going to say I've always been vulnerable to suggestion when it comes to Peter Sheath. So that's it now, right? Wait till Monday.
Well, do you know, Pete? We're a few weeks ahead of you on this one, and it's watch this space. It's one of them.
Well, I've already started talking to one of the biggest retailers. I've been working with him, and I've already put a suggestion in to him about doing health and well-being and psychological well-being for all his workforce as a sort of a coaching venture. So you have coaches in each one of his outlets, and you have like a bench in each one where people can go and sit and a coach comes over and helps you out and all that. But get money off that then to free you up to go and do a sort of a warrior down group in Longford around Warrington.
No, we're not scratching around for a
exactly.
in the Purple Roomz and being told they'll rob it or you can't manage it. It's like
that laptop thing really upset me, that laptop thing, because like you're giving someone a laptop, but what comes with that is they can't work it proper. They'll be surfing porn, they'll be ordering things, blah blah blah, and you just think, oh, what a load of bollocks. What if they are? You know what I mean? It's just people just put so much what if around things that it stops you doing shit.
But then we had Mick, whose heart was like, what you need? All right, and that money for him, we're not talking about a £50 million contract that he's running. We're talking about he's probably scratching the bones of his arse, making ends meet on a day-to-day basis. But
we've got him a laptop.
The laptop.
Yeah. And it cuts all that nonsense out, doesn't it? We go into your local commission and then having to fill in all their forms and then put in a load of targets and risk assessments and before you know it, you think, it's only a laptop.
Do you know? I was just thinking, check Peter Sheath out now. He's going sultry. He's independent. He's going to tell us all what he thinks now. Watch out! Watch out the system.
But we've always, these conversations are long in the tooth. I think Matt hit on it for me. We've got to start standing shoulder to shoulder and not. We've got to see how the system creates competition, and sometimes that competition isn't helpful for collaboration. What is helpful is standing united, shoulder to shoulder, recognising that we're stronger together. And in that, we might have subtle differences, but we're not going to look for them. We're going to look for the similarities.
But also recognising that you've got a spectrum out there. On the one hand, you've got people who are more than willing to pay for your service. And then on the other hand, you've got people who will never be able to pay for it. But you can juggle that about in some way.
Yeah.
Right,
I'll wait for your call then, Pete.
Right, guys, I'm going to go back to cooking me mules now. So it's been absolutely lovely. And thank you for everyone. And I'll see you again soon.
Take
care, Pete.
Bye, love.
Bye-bye.
Oh, the legend.
I'm leaving it on, by the way.
All right. Okay, love. Well, you're always welcome in our lounge.
So we've got
Glenn.
We've got our Glenn to come in and do the competition.
Wheel of Fortune.
The Wheel of Fortune, Glenn.
Hello. Just before I go on to that, I just want to put this quote out from Tony Bond that he was sending a message to Haley saying 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour a day. So basically take your time, it will come. Just take your time. So Yeah, so 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour a day, a time, and Haley, God bless. So that's that one. And Andrea Howard, my brother's receiving help now. He was a mess. Nice to see him smiling, and he's going to rehab soon.
Awesome.
Brilliant, that, innit?
Get it done. Get it done.
So
Heidi Ingen, hello, darling. Now, I'm so happy that you're in the house.
Oh,
I'm
Heidi
so
says, Emma,
happy.
you're looking very well.
Oh, thank you, darling. I'm so glad you're on board. We need to get you linked in. Lorna, if you can pick that up.
Yeah, and well done. Well done, Heidi. I know you're doing awesome.
Brilliant. So, Glenn, have you got the...
I have, yeah. Bear with me. So just want to shout out Danny Boyd Thomas, who won last week. A voucher will be on its way to you. I've also got an image for... Sorry?
Did you tell him he won, and was it a surprise to him?
Yeah, it was a surprise. He said, why have I won? So I just explained that for liking and sharing that he entered a prize draw and a prize giveaway. So a voucher's on its way to him. And I've also got an image to share from the week before.
Oh,
awesome!
Awesome.
So that's Rachel Vallis.
Yes, Rachel.
Up in Plymouth, I think she was at Plymouth. So well done,
Plymouth.
Rachel.
I've got a lot of I know a lot of beautiful people in Plymouth. Ivana Badani, especially. I love Plymouth. God country.
Well, that's that one. So I'm going to do the Wheel of Fortune now. Like I said, you've got up until Saturday evening to like and share this video, and then that way you will enter the prize giveaway. And if you want to win £20, if you don't like and share it, you won't be in it to win it. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be in it to win it.
Look at all them names.
Woo, woo. Am I on there?
You are. You're there.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yay.
And me.
Yes, and me.
What happens if we win it, Glenn?
We have to. We'll donate it or something.
Do we have to?
I don't know. Are there rules around this?
We've had a few conversations around this, and it's up to the individual who wins it.
Yes.
So if you win it, you can donate it to me.
Right. So, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yeah, we're ready.
So it's already pre-populated into the wheel. So everyone's name that was you just seen is in there. So here we go.
Random picker.
And this is for a week in rehab.
Right, Julie's got a week in rehab.
I like that. Right. Well done, Julie. Someone will be in touch to arrange for your voucher to be delivered, sent to you, should I say. So well done.
Brilliant.
Oh, thanks, Glenn. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you to everybody that's watched. Thank you to our amazing loungers tonight. They were awesome, weren't they? There's just so much to take
I've
in.
enjoyed it tonight.
I have.
We've managed to get a laptop for the Purple Roomz, so you've got to get on Mick now for that, Emma.
Yeah.
Lynn, you're awesome. You know, 6 years ago you came in and positively disrupted my world, let alone the organisation.
And if
I
you
do love it. I do love Red Rose. I'm a great believer in everything that they do. I'm, recovery all the way in my eyes. I love you guys. I just love you because you're real. Do you know what I mean by that? You're real. You don't talk shit. You talk the truth, and and that's what it's about, isn't it? And I like it.
And you're real as well, Lynn. So it's like my heart recognises your heart.
And you are part of a community in which when I look, I just think Skem is awesome in that respect. They know each other.
Yeah.
It's like when you come out the door, you're in your community and you all love and know each other. we don't always see a lot of that now. Skem's leading the way in that.
Yeah, Skem is fantastic. I love living in Skem. I love the people in Skem. I love all the stuff that's going on in the communities, and I think we do stick together, and I think it's a good thing.
I'm just looking at the video of you here now, Evelyn getting her hair did, and she looks like she's going to have a heart attack. So if you think she just looks this pretty and no pain in it, watch this clip. It is on room, and if you do want to donate, get some resources into Lynn's World. Everything goes to the Macmillan. Does it, Lynn?
Yeah, Macmillan. Yeah, Macmillan nurses.
You know, them nurses doing a cracking job. I only found out when my dad got cancer that they're not actually government funded.
No.
It's all charity. It's all based on donations, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, great work that they do there in them hospices. God love them all. God love them all.
Can I just say, Emma, as well, congratulations to Babs and Daniel for the job. I'm made up, and I just want to say thanks to my team here in Skem, all our volunteers and everything, and a massive, massive shout out to Leanne Moore for now starting the women's group on Monday. She's smashing it, Emma. She's come right there now. She wants the change. She knows she wants the change, and she's fighting for it.
Is Leanne coming on the service? Is Leanne coming on the service user rep training?
Rep training as well. Yes, she's coming on that as well. Yeah.
Lynn, so what are you going to do with your new haircut? Are you just going to style it out? Are you going to buy a hat? Are you going to buy a scarf?
Bandana.
No, I'm going to wear a hat. Do you know what I have noticed, guys? Glenn, big shout out to you, mate. I've got no hair. I'm freezing. I'm like, all the heat must go out your head. I'm sitting here like this, freezing.
Well, I'm used to it, so my hair went a long time ago.
Oh. And also, just on that, a massive shout out to Grainey, Lisa Grainey. Oh, yeah. I love you, Lisa.
I love you too. Yeah. I'll have to come see you soon.
I know, look at her in her little office. Can you see her there?
I know, very poor.
What was your office? Oh.
You see?
And she has just been absolutely planted in the middle of a gorgeous building.
Oh, it's lovely. It's a great big old Victorian house. What's all brand new, massive 8-bedroom apartments. Wow. So I have the privilege of working and living here.
Because she's the best at what she does.
I certainly am. I truly believe that, Emma. I am an engagement worker through and through.
Oh, yes, girl.
You're more than that. You're more than that. You're a boss.
Yeah.
Aren't you? You're a boss.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you going?
I'll get there.
She will.
I am determined I will get to where I will be happy at. I will not stop till I get it. Nothing will stop me.
What are you getting?
I want to be a boss of everything, me. So then when I've got it, I can hand it all back down. Simple. And I absolutely won't stop till I get it. Till I can do things my way instead of the way other people want me to do things. Because sometimes I don't always agree with certain socks, by the way.
Right, well, won't have you positively disrupting anything else tonight. We'll draw a line under it there.
No.
Thank you for coming on and making...
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you make this space interesting, and what is it? It's interesting,
authentic, and unpredictable,
and informative.
Oh yeah, very well.
Right, we love you, Lee.
Guys.
And Glenn, thanks so much for coming on every week and doing what you do, getting the voices heard and doing the wheel and everything you do behind the scenes as well. In fact, the whole team. And a big shout out to my team too, full of love tonight.
Yeah.
I just also thank, we've got another Peter who didn't come on tonight because...
Peter Furlong.
Peter Furlong is just a force for good for us. He's really supportive on a personal tip. I know I can phone him up anytime I want. I know there's a few guys out there who offer me that space to support me. But as for tonight, Pete was going to come on and talk to us about needle syringe provision, a postal scheme. But we thought, we want to do it justice, and because we had some last minute doorbells ring, Pete very kindly said, shall I come back next week instead? And I love that about him, dead humble. But next week we're going to do the needle and syringe provision postal scheme. We're going to do it some justice, because next week is about community. That's the value, community.
Can I just come in? On top of that, Pete? I think I read a comment now, and I read it wrong from Tony Bond to Haley. So what he was saying was, take your time, meaning 1 second, 1 hour, 1 day, and if you take them steps, then you'll get to where you need to be.
And by that, he was saying, keep it in the moment.
Yeah.
Because we can get carried away in the future or the past, but the moment's where it's out. So Kevin Ross has gone, well done for the shave. How can I donate to you for it? £10. So Kevin Ross wants to make a donation, and that's to you, Lynn. How can he do that?
Glenn's put it on the link thing, haven't you, Glenn?
I've asked Scott to put it on the link, but if you send me the link, copy and paste it, send it over to me, and I'll get it on the LUF page.
And because we've got 25 people still watching live, can I ask you guys to click on the survey and just answer it? Because that just helps us.
Yeah, definitely.
If you could all go and click on the survey at the top of the Facebook page, like and share it, that'd be great. So, okay, my sidekick's already gone. I imagine to get the tea ready. It's 7 o'clock Saturday night, so we're going to love yous and leave yous. Thank you, everyone. Peter Sheath, you're awesome. Thank you for all you guys. Glenn, as ever, nice one. And for those that don't get named, you know who they are. And all the people who are behind the scenes squirreling away are Bev. Massive respect.
Love you guys. Bye.
The link for Lynn is on the actual stream now. I've just put it on there, so Lynn, you don't have to do it.
Thanks, guys.
So I'm not going to close it down just yet, because I want Kevin to see that link. Kevin Ross.
He'll be able to access that anyway, Peter, because he can just go on it and watch it again. So it'll be at the bottom.
Brilliant. All right, guys.
Thank you,
All
Kevin.
right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.